Hey guys, Jay here. So in this video today I want to go through the changes that I've made on this character. It is a little bit of an upgraded version for the LAZIEST Sparker. So if you have followed this build, I think you will find some of the information that I got here today quite helpful. So first of all, in the gear, I'm still having these basic setup. Earthbound and Killjoy and then Alpha's How is pretty much the core item of the build. One very bad news is when I first made this build, the Alpha's How is actually only 1 Divine, maybe a little bit less. But right now it is hovering around the range of like 3 Divine. There's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, really sorry on that. But the market is changing rapidly in a lot of ways, and there might be cases that we can benefit from it, but also there are things that we kind of like suffer from the changes as well. So yeah, just what it is. Other than that, I also changed my belt because I have a lot of extra resistances over cap, so I can change my belt into having +2 charm slot. This basically just quality of life. You can have +1, you can have +0 still, it's okay, but +2 basically makes me I don't need to spend 2 points into 1, 2 here to get additional charm slot. Instead, I just have 3 by default here, and I can put in the charm for freeze immunity, stun immunity, and then slow immunity as well. So these are actually very good. So I also upgraded my boots by like a teeny tiny amount, which is 5% movement speed. It doesn't really cost anything extra because, as I said, I had more resistance than I needed. And so, yeah, I just have a pair of boots with more movement speed, but less resistances. So it is even a little bit cheaper than the previous one that I got with like 30 intelligence, then lightning, and then cold resistant, both over 30%. And I also changed my amulet. The previous one I got a little bit more. This one I have a little bit less spirit, but I have +1 to all spell skill gems. So that is some extra lightning damage or some extra damage overall for, all our spells. And then there is a very, very big changes in the jewels. So I have spent 3 divine to get 3 of the ground spectrum. This is in trade-off of 3 normal jewels with like lightning magnitude, which is very big. But I really like this change. You can choose to not have it, by the way. I just really like this change because this amount of extra spirit, and then I drop clarity on my setup, and so I can put in another cast on shock. So right now, if I weapon swap into single target setup, I have 3 cast on shock going, and one of them is cast on shock with lightning conduit, control destruction, element of focus. This is the main single target. Impetus for more energy gain, and then energy retention. Previously in this slot it is considered casting, but well, I actually read now. Somebody in the comment section in the previous video showed me that this actually doesn't work for trigger gem. Well, I looked at the text and it all makes sense, right? It only works for skill that you cast yourself. But I strongly want to claim that it actually worked. Problem is, even if it worked, it's not intended, because according to the text it should not work, right? So I just remove this one from this setup, which means we either don't lose any damage because it doesn't work, or we lose a 40% multiplier on the single target. It is what it is, right? So yeah, I just put it in here on the spark. So it has inspiration, overcharge, lightning exposure, conduction. Previously this is arcane folk, arcane tempo, but right now it is considered casting. So the hits from the spark is stronger, it just deals more damage, so it's easier to shock enemy. It's just like that. And because the cast speed is lower, we actually don't drain as much mana, which is a plus. On the spark, right? Coursing current, still acceleration here, lightning penetration, and persistent, because yeah, this is not supposed to work with trigger skill, so I do not put it in here. The second cast on shock setup is with conductivity, voltaic mark, heightened curse for conductivity's curse effect, and then frost wall. I am trying to test out this one. I'm not sure if it's going to be better or worse than the actual flame wall, but this is whatever. Mainly we care about conductivity, voltaic mark, and heightened curse. Cast on Shock, this is the setup that I just put in. So it is Orb of Storm, because I removed Clarity from Archmage, as I do not have enough Spirit for Clarity in this setup. But because we have Orb of Storm, we can link Font of Mana, which gives us 40% of mana regeneration instead of 30% from Clarity. So I think this is very good. And Orb of Storm is the skill that hits enemy with lightning damage. Obviously, it's skill with Archmage as well. That means I can use the Electrocute and Neuro Overload. So this thing chain and hit enemies around me, and it will electrocute, and with Neuro Overload, it electrocute faster and more consistent. So it feels pretty good defensively. Even on bosses, sometimes when you finish with your first load, you blow up your mana, you were just basically left with an enemy boss that is electrocuted there. So you have a few seconds to actually just, you know, do whatever you want. And last but not least, the Sigil of Power. This one is from the new staff that I have changed. Before, I used a wand with +4 and then a focus with +1. These cost me like 55 exalted in total. This staff have one more level to all skill gem compared to that combo of wand and focus. It has more spell damage, a little bit less mana, more intelligence compared to the same price pretty much. And this one cost me 50 exalt. If you want +7 total of spell skill gem, of lightning spell skill gem in your wand, which is the +5, and then +2 in the focus, you will spend at least 20 divine. I can guarantee you that you need to spend a lot of money, because Spark or Archmage gear is very expensive. But because normally people playing Archmage use the Sigil of Power just to put down the Sigil of Power itself, so they actually don't care about the stat on the staff. And for the main setup, while casting Spark or, you know, whatever spell they want, they are using the wand and the focus. That means the staff here is extremely cheap for what it gives. In the end, right, there is no way this thing can give as much stat, like as much mana, spell damage, overall stat as the wand and focus, but it gives you Sigil of Power. This is extremely powerful. For this build, we are not a normal Archmage, so we already locked one weapon slot for the Earthbound. So for the weapon swap, we need to choose between a wand or a staff. And right now, I feel like the staff here is a lot more cost efficient than you can have with a wand and a focus. So you can look into this one. You can even have a +6 if this got more expensive. But overall, compared to wand and focus, this is just way more cost efficient if you are looking for like a you know, just a little bit more damage per single target. And I think even in the end, right, because with this build, you kind of want Sigil of Power. Sigil of Power is just a lot of extra damage on a single target. You put it down once, literally press one button like this, and then you start casting when you're standing within it. Obviously, if there is a target here, I will run the Stone Citadel right after I'm done talking. There will be target here. It will get cast on shock. It will blast my mana pool. So, you know, overall, I would just gain stages much quicker. Right here, I need to self-cast, and only Spark is costing mana, so it is not gaining stages very quickly. But in reality, we should be having all the stages, all 4 stages, and that is going to give a 14 times 4 is 64%, right? Yeah, 64% more damage. That is a lot. That is a lot. I think that even in the end, if you have a perfect staff compared to a perfect wand and a perfect focus, for wand and focus, you should have more mana. But for this one, you have a more multiplier to make up for that. So I think overall, it can be, you know, comparable, and it is so much cheaper. So yeah, those are all the changes. And if you want to stay for a little bit more of the gameplay, then this is a Stone Citadel. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope you enjoyed the video. So if you do, please consider to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And from now on, I will probably just turn on some music. And no, actually, there is something broken in my computer. And you know what? You will need to hear me yapping through this freaking Citadel. And overall, we just do this. Okay, I need to switch back to the Earthbound, and pretty much we run around. Earthbound clear is insane, alright? Right now, I think the build is very, very well-rounded. Overall, we have pretty good clear. We have very, very, like, comfy, lazy playstyle. And we have some pretty decent single target as well. For this budget, I would say this is pretty good single target. I need to update my filter. I really need to update my filter. I'm still using the strict never sync filter. I would just try to rush to the boss, right? It should be on this side, I suppose. So I would just rush straight to this side. I don't think it will be in this area, but let me just clear this corner. Okay, essence, that's good. I like the essences. Right. As you can see, the essence spawned and it will just immediately got destroyed. I don't think the boss is going to be in this area. Probably it's going to be this, around this area. It's like opposite of the, yeah, the checkpoint is there, so the boss is here. Let me actually deal with the boss, and then yeah, we'll finish the video. So what we do here is we put down Sigil of Power and we just start casting. And this should like instantly phase this guy. Yep. That is 2 shot, not 1 shot, but 2, right? So I can put down another Sigil of Power here. And I continue to cast. Make sure I put my finger on the flask so I can heal it immediately, and yeah, it can trigger another cast on shot. So it will immediately kill the Citadel boss here. So yeah, that is the changes that I have made on the build to Fragmentized. So yeah, thanks for watching again. I hope you enjoy, and peace.